something that I've run into with the growing number of single board computers that I have is the inability to power all of them.
Right.
It's always an issue. So I started looking at DC power supplies that you can get for your workbench, because these things have so much amperage, so much wattage that you could plug 20 Raspberry Pis into the thing and it'll power everything if you've got the right voltage. But getting on to, say, something like Amazon, here I am on Amazon Canada, and I can see the price is about $120 for an entry-level one. Now, there are some cheap ones. Well, there's some really cheap ones. But generally speaking, a good one I'm finding are going to be $200 to $400 for a really good one.
And you want a good one.
Certainly. Yeah, and you do want a good one. Now, I also noticed, like, this one here that's $306, it's got multiple different voltages output, so you can have different, like, I have some 12-volt computers, some 5-volt systems, and sometimes I'm doing some other things. And so something like that would be great, whereas some of the cheaper ones only have a single output, so you'd set the voltage, and it's going to be that voltage for everything.
Right.
Right? So $200, whatever. What if I could do it for $10? Just putting that out there.
Yeah.
What if I could do it for $10? Do you believe it's possible?
Is it not going to be like one of those fake SD cards, is it?
No, I hope not. That's why you've got your voltmeter, because we're going to find out if it's fake or if it's legit going to do this for. So how are we going to do this? What's one thing that I have too many of laying around my garage? Computer power supplies.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many of us have a couple of extra power supplies pulled from old computers? And if you don't have, you can easily, I mean, pop by a local computer shop that does refurbishing or whatever, and they probably have a couple sitting in a box that you can have for $5 or something. I don't know. But I have tons of them laying around. So, Bill, here's my latest pull. So I pulled this one out of an old computer here at the studio. And I think it's still good. It's got some dust, and that's all good. That's fine.
That's fine.
Yep.
That means you used it.
Yep. So let's plug it in, and I just want to make sure that it is going to work. So I do have a tester for my power supply itself. So this is a Dr. Power 2 from Thermaltake. So I can power this on just to see power comes good. We've got 5 volts, 12.2 volts, 3.3 volts, 11.5 volts, which is the negative 12 volt,
right?
And 5 volt again, and it says that power is good. So we're good to go. So I went out, Bill, and I thought, okay, well, here's a great idea. What if I took the fact that this has 12 volts, 3.3 volts, 5 volts, snipped the cable, made some kind of circuit PCB that had a bunch of connectors and things like that, so that I could use this for a new power supply for my workbench. So I ordered the parts, which you have to buy in bulk.
Oh,
because I didn't have any of the parts yet. So then, so I got like a bag of connectors.
Okay.
You got to buy them by the 100. I got like bags of all the different things that I would need to make this happen, right? And then
this instead of going and buying a power supply.
Yeah, because I want to tinker. I want to say, hey, I made that myself. I did that myself, and I can be proud of that. And also, I wanted to make it so that I could, if the power supply died, I could just unplug the power supply and plug in a new power supply to it.
There you go.
That kind of idea. So after all that's said and done, somehow, I mean, the Facebook machine figured out what it was I was doing and put an ad up on my screen.
Nice.
And it took me, now I've created a hot link for you, cat5.tv/ATX. And Bill, are you ready for this?
He's practically hiding it.
I see what's coming.
I'm going to show you, don't worry.
Sweet.
Sweet. So, thinking along the lines of what it is that I had intended on doing, this has an ATX input directly off of a power supply. It has a power switch to turn it on and off. Mm-hmm. Then it's got fuses for each voltage and individual power outputs for each voltage that is available on the power supply.
The fuses are a nice bonus.
It is an absolutely nice bonus. I hadn't even thought of that.
Everything you need.
That's it. So I've got negative 12 volt, positive 12 volt, 5 volt, 3.3 volts. And you figure out the amperage of something like this, a power supply, and figure 25 Raspberry Pis, easy. 10 Raspberry Pis, a couple of Pine 64s, we can do this, right? Or just if you're tinkering and you want to mess around, and I want to plug this in, and we're going to see what happens here, Bill. I haven't done this yet. Yeah, I'm a little afraid to touch it. 'Cause who knows? Okay, so is it going to power on when I flip that switch? Fan started spinning, light came on. So you've got your voltmeter on here. Now there's no load, so could that be, it just shut off?
Oh.
Could we put a load on it? Will your voltmeter put a load on, say, the 12 volt?
It's going to put a small load, which is a 12 over, isn't it? This guy.
Yeah, positive 12. So let me kill the switch and power on. There's not enough of a load, Bill.
No.
So I would have to have a load on this in order to get power coming off of it. I think it's a great idea.
We'll work on it.
We'll work on this. Not today. But if I have a load on this, I think that's probably what's going on here.
Probably right.
Yeah. There's nothing to pull. It is a cool device. We're going to be looking at this over the next little while. It's going to save us having to buy one of those kits. It's only $10, and it will work on any power supply. I'm going to let you know, Bill, what happens when I put maybe a couple of Raspberry Pis on the 5 volt. Keeping in mind that this is not a transformer either, so this is pulling directly from a good, solid power supply. So if I'm getting power good off of this, which I am, then this is going to have clean power as well. So that's one of the advantages to doing it this way. Plus then, if this dies, I can unplug it, plug in a new power supply. So I like that. Cool.
I like it.
cat5.tv/ATX. Put a load on it, and I think you're going to find that it's pretty cool.